Stuart, first of all, then, as we look forward to Preston, any new injury problems?
Believe it or not, no, which is brilliant to find out. No, we've got a couple of bumps and bruises from the other night, but nothing that's going to keep anybody out. So similar squad to what was against Swansea, really. So that's positive. Very
much so, and rare too. So who is the most likely to be back after the international break then?
Good question. Jayden Bogle, he's been training with us today, so hopefully he'll get a good week's training next week behind him. So Jayden, we would hope to be back in and around it. As I said, he started training with us today, so he's high up the list. And then I think it's 2 or 3. It'll still be another week or two yet. You know what I mean? I think we look at I think most of them are down to be 4 to 5 weeks. So that was a couple of days ago. So there'll be still, when we come back, there'll still be another 2 or 3 weeks away, most of them.
A quick word on Rhian Brewster, partly because he's just been sat where you were. Clearly made a very telling contribution the other night. There's always going to be the kind of the headline about the price tag with him and what have you. Where is he at maybe on that journey in sort of fully justifying, not necessarily just that, but being in and amongst the goals?
Yeah, he just needs a run of games. Like we said, I sat here I think about a month ago and said the same about Ollie McBurnie, just needs a run of games. But when we've got the strikers that we've got all fit at the moment, it's hard to get a consistent run. If he'd have been a left wing back or a centre back, he'd been playing all the time, because that's where all his injuries are at the moment, unfortunately. But no, listen, I've got to say, since I've come in, I didn't know. Obviously, I knew the price tag. I knew a little bit about Rhian's background, in youth football and obviously playing for England. But again, it's like anything. Once you start working with people, you can get a proper idea of them then. He works ever so hard, the kid. He trains really hard. He wants to be the best he can. He's not a fancy damn player. Big price tag just floats about. No, he's got a really good attitude, a good work ethic. And he's a good finisher. There's no doubt about that. In fact, I was surprised the other night when Reader crossed it for him and his header just went wide, because he's actually, for a lad who's not the tallest, he's actually good in the air as well. So, but no, again, you can only, as a coaching staff and a management staff, you can only ask for dedication, hard work, and he's giving that. So he just needs a little run where he can nick a goal or whatever it may be. But I don't think it's, obviously you've just spoke to him, I don't think it should be getting on to him, because he's playing his part in the team when he's involved in it.
It's interesting, and this is obviously a comment from someone on the outside looking in, but there have been times where he looked like the weight of the world's on his shoulders, maybe quite glum, but then has something happened? Because when he's been seen in and around the place in the last few months, he obviously in front of the press, he's bright, he's chipper, he looks like he's enjoying his loss.
So again, going back to the Ollie Mack scenario, it's an injury-free run as well you need. It's not just necessarily playing lots of games. He's been able to train day in, day out, and since we've been in, he's had little problems here, there and everywhere with little injuries and niggly injuries. So it's just getting that consistent, I said games at the beginning, it's actually a run of training, so he gets to a level where he's feeling sharp, and he's training well, and he knows when he gets the opportunity to be ready to go. And he's shown that when he has come off the bench, and even when he started at times this season, you know what I mean? But it's just, no, listen, he's like that. He's got a smile on his face. I've never seen, only when he was injured now and again, little bits, which you get from every player. I don't expect him to be doing somersaults when they're out of the team through injury. But now he's back and in and along it and training every day and looking sharp, enjoying his football. He just needs to get the minutes on the park now.
So Preston next. Odd setup, isn't it, in the fact that they don't score many, but they sure as hell don't concede a lot either. How do you break through that? It's proven very difficult for a lot of teams this year.
Well, it is. It's incredible, isn't it? If you look at it, 9 games in the league, drawn 6, scored 3 in 9, but only conceded 2. It's an incredible start. But yeah, obviously we watched a couple of games back the other night against Burnley. I think they gave up a lot of possession to Burnley and had a low block, and Burnley had a lot of possession without having loads of chances. Whereas in a lot of the games that Preston haven't scored, they've had good opportunities, but the keeper's maybe pulled a great save off or whatever it may be. So No, they've got a good squad of players. They've got a good group of players there. I think they've only got one out injured. You know what I mean? So they've got alternatives to bring back. Obviously, Ryan's not going to be, down in the dugout. He's got a 2-game suspension, didn't he? So he missed the Burnley game the other night. So that'll take a little bit out of him. But no, it's a game, and I believe we've sold out. I think 6,000 supporters are going over. So it's going to be a great atmosphere. And one, regardless who we're playing, when the lads are in the run of confidence and form that they're in, it doesn't matter. They just want the next game to come, and so you can imagine that everybody from the staff, the players, the supporters are looking forward to the next game. But we know we've got to put in a strong performance.
Because there are loads of great stories in football, but ain't much better than a last-minute winner, is there? Really, in terms of boosting confidence or keeping it high, whatever. But being confident.
I think the other night there was a lot of things that went into that. I think it was a good game of football first and foremost. I think they had opportunities, we had opportunities. I think we look back over it. I think George certainly had one almost goal line clearance from a ball came in. Reece did, certainly. Anel, we know, did, and Bass did right at the end. So everyone's playing the part. People remember, obviously, the great run by Ryan and the goal by Reeder, but it comes from a terrific bit of defending from Bass at the back there, and that's what it's got to be. We go back to the Hull game. We're not going to dominate every minute of the game, even when we start well, and that was the same at Hull. And we needed Wes to make a superb double save for us to, then to control the game again. So everyone's playing the part. We don't do it with just 3 or 4 people, or even 10 or 11. It's a squad game, and at the moment, like I say, the lads, it must be a joy for them to just look around the dressing room, look who's not in the team, look who's waiting to come back into the group, and that just got to spur you on to keep your shirt.
I wonder then, just finally then, how much of a carrot it will be for those players to look at the tables after the match and still be top going into the break.
Yeah, obviously that'd be nice. You don't get anything, as we say, medals or trophies in September, but it would be good, especially when we started off with a defeat. We've had a decent run, but again, nobody's getting carried away with it. But certainly, it'd be nice to go into the break with looking to get another victory. We go there as we go to every place really, looking for 3 points. I think we put in a really good performance there last season up to the last 15 minutes. We had a lot of good chances, didn't capitalise on them. Should have won the game, but never. But it made us stronger, and we learnt from it.
Yeah, it's extraordinary, wasn't it? They ultimately were better with 10 men than they were with 11, weren't they?
Well, that's right. Yeah, it's one of them nights we'll look back on. But defensively, we've been good this season, and we need to be on it. We were a bit sloppy in both goals last season. We gave away. But as I said, it goes throughout the team. It's for everyone. You defend from the front, through the midfield, at the back, and then, you've got terrific keeper in Wes behind.